In the year of our Lord 2011, urologic practice in the great city of Portland seemed on the verge of failure. But these dark times were not destined to last. From the wild and untamed north, a native sun would rise, a force for truth, for justice, for bipolar terps that would change the face of Maine forever. Gabriel Vitale Belanger was born on May 30th, 1983, to a husband and wife lumberjack team in Moscow, far north of the Wall. He was admitted to the U.S. Olympic ski team at the unprecedented age of 5, and retired with a record 23 gold medals, including a specially created platinum medal. He developed several new fishing techniques, and his invention of the barbed hook is still in use today. Though he is credited merely with introducing the hip-hop musical genre to Maine, sources indicate he may have actually founded the genre itself. It would not be long before young Gabe answered the call of destiny and became a man of fate. Rejecting requests from local officials to found his own, Gabe chose instead to enroll in medical school at the Dartmouth School of Medicine. He graduated in 2011, magna cum laude ultimum maximum in perpetuum, with a degree in medicine and the position of president for life. His stirring graduation speech, delivered to a crowd of millions, was the first breath of the mighty winds of change soon to sweep into Portland, Maine.
Anytime, you have to follow Gabe in the OR, you come on the robot after he's been on it, and, we all feel a little, in awe, I have to say. His insights, during, conferences, just penetrating, really.
We heard a very loud, audible pop, and realized that we had incurred a major bladder dome rupture. And, I could have attributed this all to, poor technique or whatever, but, Gabe's tremendous, all-encompassing command of the urologic literature, he was able to figure out that the rupture had actually occurred because of the gas bubble and not because of our technique.
But Gabe's incredible technical prowess was only one facet of his diamond soul. Those who knew him best knew that he was, above all, nothing less than the most empathetic, communicative, and humble man that had ever lived.
He's a real genius. An outside-the-box communicator. This one time, we had this 90-year-old patient. The nurse was concerned he was delirious. So Gabe walks in the room on rounds and says, "Hey, what year is it?" And the guy says, 2014. But then Gabe goes, "No, it's 2086. You're way off."
Warm milk, warm cotton swabs, small animals, and his empathy for not only humans, but small rodents. These are the qualities that come to mind when I think of Gabe Belanger. I'm going to tell you guys a story about Gabe. It'll bring tears to your eyes. One day, when Gabe was out in the field, chopping wood, he found a small mouse. It was a small mother mouse with what appeared to be enlarged udders. And he knew this mouse was pregnant and feeding, so he tracked this mouse to its nest. And there he found 7 small baby mice. Gabe could not stand the thought of letting these mice starve to death. So he Googled how to save mice. And what he found was that they need cat's milk. He fed them every 2 hours. He also found out that they needed to have regular rectal stimulation. He did this with a small Q-tip. They all died.
So Gabe honed his ability to display empathy to his patients very early on in his training. I remember one time, during his first year as a resident, one of the nurses came to us sharing a story about how difficult things had been lately. As she stood there, teary-eyed, Gabe comforted her by sharing a story about a time he was driving down the highway in Florida and he watched a motorcyclist get hit by a truck and the head bounce past him on the road. She felt a lot better.
Who?
Gabe Belanger.
Gabe Belanger?
Belanger.
Belanger. Is that the guy that was supposed to see every patient with me when I was on call and answer the phone at night when I had questions? Yeah.
Chief resident,
Hey, I've never met Gabe. I've never talked to him, but I have heard that he is the most humble.
To me, one of the most impressive things about Gabe is that despite his enormous power and influence, he's still willing to compromise like a lesser man would. I once prescribed Augmentin for a patient that I thought needed it, and he disagreed with that antibiotic choice, but we reached this amazing compromise wherein I would never prescribe Augmentin ever again for any patient as long as I lived. Even more remarkable than Gabe's stupendous upper body strength is his ironclad commitment to confidentiality and professionalism. A secret in Gabe's keeping might as well never have been spoken at all.
I was training for a race, and I told him I really wanted to beat Dr. Hain in the Beach to Beacon because he took it so personally. So for 8 months, I just ran 3-4 times a week, had to bandage my legs, and through all of that, he kept my secrets, and he never told Dr. Hain.
I'm pretty sure he told Dr. Hain.
I mean, he did admit to it finally.
I don't think he admitted to it.
Well, once we confronted him with proof,
Of course Gabe told me. He tells everything. He's like a sieve. He said this thing immediately, like the same day that Stephen was training so hard to beat me in Beach to Beacon.
this interview's over. I can't do this.
However great this Titan's influence on the practice of urology, his mastery of all forms of sport has been said to be even greater.
The subject of Gabe's swing. I had the true pleasure of playing with him last fall, and I was able to analyze what was going on here and why his impact is going to be so great on the game of golf. It has to do with this transfer of momentum. Momentum is mass times velocity. And it's important before you start anything to get a good feel of the earth. You must know where your feet are at all times. The feet are the most important part of the swing. They must be comfortable. Once they're comfortable, you have to transfer the momentum from the club head to the ball and try not to hit the earth first. And as you can see, when Gabe comes through, oh yes, it's nothing but pure transfer of momentum, like that one right there.
Gabe's style of play I would characterize as aggressive. His instincts are appropriate. His serve is weak, and this is the area around which I would like him to focus in the future. As a trainee, he holds great promise, and I look forward to seeing future results at the upcoming Maine Table Tennis Association Championships. I think that he can exceed, although he will not. Do not interrupt me!
Your next patient's all set.
Go away! he will never exceed me as the master.
But the incandescent brilliance of Gabe's presence could not be Southern Maine's forever. For Gabe soon found that the call of destiny required him to abandon these lands for the vast and unknown North once more. Though the saga of this shining knight of urology had not yet reached its final chapter, it was time, once more, for a new era to begin. What mere words can do justice to recall someone as superlative, as transformative as Gabe? Perhaps only a tale told by his oldest and, some say, wisest mentor can be adequate.
Gabe Belanger, yes, of course. I know him. When people ask me about Gabe Belanger, I always tell them this story. It's a story about life, it's about love. There is a cult classic movie from Disney Studios. It's called Chimpanzee. It's about a chimpanzee in his toddler years named Oscar. Oscar is tended by his mother, and from her he begins to learn about many things in the jungle, how to survive there. In the chaos that may be the jungle, their chimpanzee troop is raided by a rival gang, and she actually passes away. Oscar is rejected by nearly every chimp in his group, except one. The leader of the pack, the alpha male, called Freddy. Oscar starts following Freddy and starts imitating him, and this unlikely duo actually connects. They gradually warm up to each other, and one day, Freddy, the alpha male, lets Oscar ride on his back. You see, when Gabe first came to urology, I took it upon myself to give him the teachings and love that would make him thrive, just like Oscar's mother would have if she was present. And I once told him that I felt that our story was like Oscar and Freddy's. I showed him a picture of Oscar once riding on Freddy's back, to which he replied, very kindly from the bottom of his heart, "There is no shame in that." I started crying. I had to leave and pretend I was coughing. What I never told Gabe was that in reality, it was me who was riding on his back all along.
Gabriel Belanger. Was he man? Was he legend? In Moscow, there is a saying, "Strength is our strength." Gabe Belanger is that strength. Gabe Belanger is that legend. Gabe Belanger is a man of honor.